All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. A beautiful May 25th across the area. Head of a nice weekend, and you can see mostly clear skies for most of the day. Not much smoke at all. Not much at all. You can see there was some cloudiness over New England, and a few high clouds drifting in this evening. But other than that, yeah, I was in the Pine Barrens today. I have a whole video for you. You'll see. Working on that now. And this is the cirrus that moved into the evening, and you can see it kind of really pretty looking cirrus. It wasn't like junky at all. See, like these nice cirrus formations here, really pretty. Really unusual colors too in the cirrus. I'm wondering if the smoke somehow got absorbed into these cirrus clouds or not, because you're going to look at some of these pictures and wonder what the heck's going on. Like this picture right here. Again, this was the sunset. Well, just before sunset, you could see the cirrus, but then look at this dark. It almost looks like smoke down here. What is that? I've never seen that before. So there's another one. Interesting cloud formation there. And then as we got toward sunset, you can see the sunset lighting up. There must still be a little smoke in the atmosphere to cause these colors, at least maybe off to the west, because when the clouds were around, you could see that reddish in the sky. There was a little bit of smoke, but not enough to make it hazy, just enough to make a pretty sunset, I guess. You can see maybe there's a little bit of a band of smoke right there to the north, maybe, that did it. But other than that, you know, not that much. Across the country, we're going to mainly focus on the East Coast in this weather update here. You can see frost and freeze warnings for the Great Lakes, and as well as upstate, believe it or not. It's going to be a cool night tonight, except maybe here. You know, literally, I walk into my apartment, it's hot, and I got all the windows wide open, and it smells like weed in here. It smells like somebody smoked a joint in here, right? I mean, I don't know where it came from. It must have come from outside or something. Put the fans on to try to get it out. The air in the alley is only 64 degrees. It's not as cool as it is in, say, Islip, which is 59 right now. No sea breeze today. We'll look at the... not on Long Island anyway. However, there was one in Jersey. So you'll see here, generally speaking, temperatures were only in the 60s today. Pretty cool day, below normal. Mostly sunny skies. Northwest winds, the most part. The winds pretty much stayed northwest the whole day. We thought they'd be a little more northeasterly, but they turned more northwesterly. They were northeasterly in the morning, and then they became a little more northwesterly, I guess, throughout the day. But other than that, fairly clear skies, low dew points, very comfortable day out there. And right now down to 59. Of course, West Hampton's already down to 48. And, yep, 64 at LaGuardia, so that matches what I got in the alley. Even cooler in Jersey, where it's 51. Yeah, it's been cool in Jersey. They actually got a sea breeze there, oddly enough. If we look at the observation here from Pinewald, you'll actually see that there was, let's see, I don't really have the wind up here too much, but you'll notice it looks like it did get warmer there, but there was a sea breeze that did kick in. We'll have to look at some of these sites that maybe are a little more, let's see, probably didn't make it to Lakehurst, though, that's the thing. So, well, anyway, we'll look at the highs, generally speaking, for the day. So put the highs on the map here. And you'll see highs were in the upper 60s, generally speaking, across Long Island. Upper 60s even in New York City. And upper 60s in Jersey as well. However, there was a sea breeze that did develop for New Jersey in the late afternoon to the evening hours. Lows, 48. Obviously, these are probably the current temperatures. So maybe there was a little radiational cooling this morning at 48. Yeah, I guess it did cool down at 48 before. Tonight, it's going to be much cooler with the mostly clear skies and light winds. It's going to be much cooler than it was. Be chilly in the morning, probably. So let's go look at our statistics for the day. So Islip was 4 degrees below normal for the day. Central Park, 7 degrees below normal. So, yeah, it was a pretty cool day today, despite all the sunshine. It was a pretty cool day. So let's go to the, now that we looked at that, let's go to the Wonder Map here and just show you what I mean with the sea breeze, because there was no sea breeze here. However, there was a sea breeze in Jersey, so Go here. We'll just pick anywhere on the south shore. You can see it doesn't look like there's a sea breeze even now. Pick Babylon, for instance. All right. So you can see it got up to 67 there. No sea breeze. There isn't a sea breeze at all there. But however, if we go look at Jersey, the Jersey Shore, they got a sea breeze. So if we look at, say, Berkeley, Bayville, for instance, clearly see that there was a sea breeze that moved through around 5 o'clock that dropped the temperature down. And you can see that wind. So you can see the temperature just dropped right there, right around that time period, right there. That's sea breeze right there that came in. And it was only 65 for a high there, so it's a little cooler there than it was in Babylon, oddly enough. Along the east of the Parkway is where you get the sea breeze in Jersey. You have to be east of the Parkway. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Let's go inland a little more to Beechwood and clearly see where that sea breeze came through. Yep, there it is. Yep. You can see how it shifted. It did have a light wind from the east, though, so there was that tendency to cause a sea breeze. Sometimes they get a sea breeze and we don't. It's rare, but it does happen from time to time. So let's go look at the MODIS satellite. So you can see, again, clear day across our area. No smoke at all. It looks like there is smoke over the Midwest. But it looks like mostly clean air that we have downstream from us, as long as the flow keeps coming out of Canada. And it looks like things have quieted down right now in Canada as far as the fires go. I don't see too much smoke here, so this is some good news. It looks like maybe they finally were able to get a lot of these fires under control, got some rain and moisture conditions, which is good news. So good news for them and good news for us. We won't have to deal with the smoke, hopefully. Get a break from it until the next bout of wildfires happen. So we turn our attention now to the tropics because we have an area that has a small chance of forming into a tropical depression. I think it will. We're going to look at the models here right now. And I'll play the smoke model here. We'll get this over with first. Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing any smoke tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I think we're good for tomorrow. Okay, so let's go to the models here. We've got the high pressure over us. This is the area we watch. High pressure protects us, but this low gets going here and could form into a tropical storm or tropical depression before making a landfall in South Carolina. Meanwhile, high pressure keeps us dry the whole weekend long. But let's talk about this storm here first. We'll get this over with first here. The storm that's going to occur here. And you can see the GFS here developing it on Saturday here. And as far as the winds go, there wouldn't be a lot of wind with this. Not a tremendous amount of wind, but there could be, again, a lot of rainfall with it. That is something there could definitely be. And if we look at the total accumulated precip, we track this as it moves in, you'll see it's going to be a very wet weekend for the Carolinas. Some areas getting over 3 inches of rain out of this tropical storm or tropical depression at this point. But as far as that, and we look at the seas as well, wave height, we will see some elevated seas here, but nothing. Well, it looks kind of impressive, actually. So I'll have to see what this storm does, because you got to remember there is a tight pressure gradient between that storm and the high to the north. So that's something that we're going to have to watch for. So I want to look at a couple other models regarding the storm. HRRR, which should have it also in. And so this is the HRRR model here. You can see the storm there gathering strength. And it doesn't really become all that deep, but again, it's mainly going to be rain. That's going to be the main threat. It looks like it's going to be Friday night into Saturday morning that this thing's going to make a landfall. If we look at the HRRR model as far as the wind goes, nothing terrible. The wind isn't going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be more of a gradient wind just because of the gradient between the high, very strong high to the north, and this low pressure. But the main issue is going to be the rain, I think. That's what the main issue is going to be with this storm system, is the rain. We can hop on over to Ventusky as well. And we'll move this and look at our storm down here, all right? So we can move this over to Friday night, 10 p.m. Starting to see the storm gathering strength here. We'll go to look at the wind gusts here, and you can see, wow, there are some strong wind gusts. And this is, again, due to the gradient between the high and the... So there could be some pretty strong wind gusts offshore. So, again, it's going to be more of a problem for shipping interests. But some of those could make their way onshore into at least these coastal areas of the Carolinas. Here we are Saturday. And you can see some of those strong winds there are actually making it onshore. So could this actually become a tropical storm? The wind certainly suggests that it might actually be called a tropical storm at this point. So I'll have to see that we may be looking at our first tropical storm, named tropical storm of the season, as we get towards Saturday morning. And you can see it makes a landfall here. And the winds, die off quickly when it makes a landfall. But it definitely is a concern. We can look at the waves as well, because those winds are going to kick up some waves as well, some strong waves. And that might even affect us as well. So if we go over here, let's see. Well, right now it's not affecting us. So we'll get back to this later. So let's go back to our area. All right, it's not going to be a huge storm, but it's definitely significant because it's the first storm of the season. And it's early. It's only May. It's not even technically tropical season yet. And as we all know, Guam got also, let's just talk about that for a moment. Guam got hammered by a typhoon. This is it right here. It's actually, I think, a super typhoon now. Let's, you can see how it strengthened after it moved over Guam, and it could be heading to the Philippines. Let's just talk about this for a moment as well. Typhoon Mawar. So it's Typhoon Mawar. So these are the conditions. Now a Category 5 equivalent super typhoon. So strongest storm on Earth so far in 2023. Maximum sustained winds are now estimated 180 miles an hour. But fortunately, it's out over the open waters. All right. So I don't think the Hurricane Center watches this thing. Let's see. I don't think they do Western Pacific. That's the thing. Yeah, they don't do that. This is too far. That's why I don't really bring it up, but it's really in like Micronesia and Asia. But still, this is a significant hurricane, and it does. They call it a typhoon, but very strong. This is what it looked like yesterday after it got done with Guam knocking out most of the power. There's a few areas that had power, but there's a lot of destruction there. You can see, luckily for Guam, it weakened right before it made landfall into Guam, so it went down, I think, to a Category 4. But before then, it was, let's see if we can get a picture here. This was back when it was a super typhoon again. So this is Mawar here. Very monstrous storm indeed. So let's get back to our weather here. And you'll notice, fortunately, peaceful weather for us. Dry air, light winds. It looks like it's still trying to develop some kind of sea breeze, whether it actually gets in here or not. I doubt it at this point. Tomorrow, maybe a little more likely to have a sea breeze. Again, dry air stays over us. Light winds from the southeast. East probably becoming southeast. And then as we head into Saturday, you'll see we continue to stay with the dry air in place, which keeps, again, that storm suppressed to the south and keeps a lot of, even the clouds perhaps, suppressed to the south. So let's go look at the temperatures. Now, tonight we're probably going to drop into the probably even 30s perhaps in the colder areas, otherwise low 40s. And then for tomorrow, similar temperatures to today, around upper 60s to around 70, a little bit below normal. There you see the sea breeze that will develop in the afternoon and the evening. Tomorrow night, same deal, mostly clear, and lows generally in the 40s, low, but could be 30s, perhaps, all right? And as we get into Saturday, it warms up a little more. So let's go to the GFS. It'll take us a little further away. We'll have temperatures in the 70s as the winds go more in a southerly direction, still onshore. So I still think there's going to be a decent sea breeze for Saturday. And, we'll talk more about the weekend in tomorrow's weather update. Not going to really go too far into it in this one. Let's go now to the skies, because I'm tired. I did a long hike today. So let's do the skies. Tomorrow, I think the cirrus from that storm winds up staying to the south. We're mostly clear. We might see some of that get into the picture on Saturday, but maybe just for Jersey. Maybe not for Long Island. Maybe it'll be clear over Long Island. And then for Sunday, look at this. We may still be having that cirrus suppressed to the south, clear for Long Island as well. So isn't that incredible? And then it's not until Monday then we start seeing the cloud cover make its way back up But again, we'll talk more about that, I think, tomorrow night as far as the whole weekend is concerned. RGEM, let's do this. So the RGEM, are a little cirrus tonight. Then tomorrow, clear. Be a nice, beautiful day. Saturday, same deal. We'll have another clear day. Again, if there's no smoke, we'll have another nice clear sky. And Sunday, look at this. It's still off to the south. We may still be able to work out a little more, one more sunny day. When you get the highs that get stuck in this position, they can give you day after day of beautiful weather. That's what I love when you get a position high like this. It just keeps all the clouds to the south, and it's just wonderful, say the least. All right, we'll go back to the GFS, and I'll just show you the temperatures. So Sunday, we warm up a little more, 70s, and then Monday could be a little more summer-like with temperatures approaching 80 inland at least. All right, but I still think it stays fairly dry, maybe a little more humidity, but still fairly dry. See, I'm going over the whole weekend already. Kind of impossible for me not to, but, you know, I'm going to do it again tomorrow night. Let's talk a little more about that coastal storm here, because there are a few more models I want to look at. Our tropical system, really, our first tropical system. So this is the European model, and I just want to look at this and see what it has for this. You can see some strong winds on the front end of this thing. There could be some strong winds overnight, and if I put wind gusts in here, yeah, it could be some gusts up to 60 miles an hour, perhaps offshore, right on the water. So this could cause some coastal flooding. We'll have to see. It all depends on the wind direction. Right now it looks like it's a little more offshore, but if it comes more onshore, then we could be dealing with that as well. So let's go to the waves. I like using the European better. This model looks prettier, the windy.com model here. So they're going to have elevated surf along all the beach, and we'll have to see if that ever makes it up to the east coast. It looks like, and look at that, just some pretty strong waves over here. Look at that, 15-footers. Because you're going to have the gradient. Here we are into Sunday. It looks like we're not going to see any of that, though, fortunately. All right, let's just look at Mawar here. Let's see what the Euro is doing with this model here. I mean, this is Mawar right here. What a monster this thing is. And you can see we don't even have wind gusts plugged into this thing. It looks like it could be approaching the Philippines. So, again, some really strong sustained winds in this thing. If we put the wind gusts over here, it just gets, like, unbelievably bad, you know. I mean, this is a monster typhoon. You know, you have these warmer than normal waters, and they just fuel these storms, you know. So I'm just going to move it on into the weekend, see what the Euro does with this, and see where it takes it. It looks like it's keeping out over the ocean, open ocean, but still very strong. Very strong. This is now Monday morning. It's still very strong tropical system here. Very strong typhoon. Could still be a super typhoon at this point. Let's move this along to Monday. It looks like it's taking aim at Taiwan, and it's just slowing down and slowing. It's barely moving. I mean, that's one thing that this storm is very unusual. It's barely moving. That's because you have the weaker jet streams. So, fortunately for Taiwan, it still hasn't hit Taiwan yet as a Tuesday, and then this is as far as the European's going to take us at this point. All right? It's still a monster. Eventually, it'll upwell colder water, so maybe it'll weaken eventually. Let's see what the GFS is doing with it. So GFS also sends to keeping it away from land, which is good. Keeping it out over the ocean, away from land, but still, even some of these, and then it just goes back east again. That's weird. So as far as the GFS is going to take us on this run here. But on this site, yeah, because you got to have premium to go further. But I can go to tropical tidbits. But this is something else, I'll tell you. Let me go back to the European and look at the waves here. Oh my gosh, look at the waves that are going to be generated on this. We'll just put this back actually to now. It's actually going to get worse. 33 feet. I mean, you're going to have over 50-foot waves here. So if any marine interests have to really, really be careful here. And that storm surge, even without hitting, it's still going to affect the Philippines. It's still going to affect Taiwan. It's a huge amount of storm surge. Look at how it just spreads out. I mean, here we are Monday. I'll take it as far as this. And, I mean, you're dealing with Taiwan. The coast of Taiwan is going to have some flooding issues. The same thing for the northern island of Philippines. So, yeah, this is going to be a major storm. This This is one for the record books. Well, it's always one for the record books, doesn't it? Isn't it seem that way? But anyway, let's go back to tropical tidbits because I want to go a little further and just look at what these models do with this storm. If I go to the regions, I think we can get East Asia. Perfect. So this is the GFS. Let's see what it does. You can see what a monster storm here, and you can see it kind of, and then it moves it northeast. So luckily it spares Japan, and then it just kind of and just weakens it out over the ocean. This would be the best case scenario, keeping it out over the water, but it's still going to have effects, storm surge and coastal flooding, because it's going to become even bigger and more intense as time goes on. Even though it might weaken a little bit, looks like it does weaken it as we get towards Sunday. And this is again the GFS model here. If we look at the European model, Euro actually doesn't get it quite as deep. The GFS actually gets it deeper, but holds it there a little more. So again, this is the European. That's as far as we got on this European run. Let's see if we can go a little further here. See, European kind of just, look at that, and it looks like it might head for Japan maybe. So all interests in East Asia, coastal Southeast Asia, definitely have to watch this storm. This is going to be, even if it doesn't hit you, you're going to have significant effects from it. So this is definitely one to watch, that's for sure. And like I said, just looking at it on this MODIS satellite here, it just shows. We don't have the 25th image here. It's right there. Yeah, this is what it looks like now. And I mean, it's just, look at that thing. It's got that buzzsaw look. You know this thing means business, and it's huge too. It's big. It's big in area. So many miles this thing is across. Let's get it over here. I mean, like what, 200 miles across at least? Oh, it's a big storm, and it's moving slow. So, yeah, I'm praying for everybody. Guam is just recovering from this. They got hit very hard, even though they're, got very resilient. They got hit very hard, but, however, not as hard as they could have been hit. Luckily, it tracked north. Luckily, it weakened, and it wasn't on a strengthening curve, because if it was, things could have been a lot worse. Let's just hope this thing stays out over open ocean and doesn't hit any of these, the Philippines or Taiwan or Japan. Let's just stay out over the ocean, though it's still going to wreak havoc either way. So I think that's going to wrap up this weather update. Thank you for watching. Good night.